50,000 people. That wasn't just a crowd, it was a massive, undeniable demonstration of African presence that left the European security apparatus in absolute shock. This isn't just a migration crisis as the Western media portrays it, it is a fundamental shift in the geopolitical power balance between Africa and the West. In this episode, we are diving deep into why Ceuta became the flashpoint for one of the most significant demographic movements of the decade. We aren't just looking at numbers, we are analyzing how Morocco is leveraging its position to challenge European narratives and how this reflects a broader awakening of African agency in the face of Western pressure. To understand why 50,000 people surged into a tiny Spanish exclave, we have to look at history. Ceuta has been a thorn in the side of European logistics for centuries. It is a small piece of land, but its location makes it a gateway. For decades, the West viewed these borders as impenetrable walls designed to keep the outside out. However, the reality on the ground in North Africa is changing rapidly. Morocco isn't just a neighbor, it is a regional powerhouse that understands exactly how much leverage it holds over European stability. Recently, the sheer volume of people moving towards Ceuta has overwhelmed traditional security measures. Why? Because the West strategy relying on physical barriers and gatekeeping is failing against a determined population and a changing geopolitical landscape. When 50,000 people move at once, it isn't just a movement, it is a demand for recognition that the current systems cannot contain. Like this video help more Africans see this story. We have to ask, why is Ceuta specifically such a flashpoint? It is because it sits at the intersection of European insecurity and African growth. The West wants to control the flow, but they are finding that their walls are porous when faced with a population that is no longer willing to be ignored by the global system. Let us talk about the players. On one side, you have Spain and the broader European Union, currently grappling with internal fractures and a desperate need for stable borders. On the other side, you have Morocco, a nation that is increasingly assertive in its regional role. By allowing or facilitating these movements, Morocco isn't just dealing with a domestic issue, it is signaling to Europe that it knows exactly what it holds in its hand, the keys to the Mediterranean gate. The West views this as a security crisis. But for many across the continent, this is seen differently. It is an assertion of presence. For too long, Africa has been talked about by Western media without ever being heard in its own voice. When thousands of people cross those lines, they are forcing a conversation that Europe can no longer ignore. This brings us to the core of our analysis, the Pan-African implications. We are witnessing the rise of an Africa that is no longer content with being a silent spectator in Western affairs. This isn't just about people crossing a border, it is about the dismantling of the Fortress Europe myth. Every time a surge like this happens, it exposes the fragility of Western infrastructure and their inability to manage the reality of an expanding, vibrant Africa. Subscribe for honest, Pan-African analysis you won't find on CNN or BBC. This is part of the Africa Rising narrative. As our economies grow and our voices become louder, the old ways of containment are failing. The West wants to keep Africa in a box defined by their rules, their borders, and their narratives. But as we see in Ceuta, those boxes are breaking. Africa is not just moving, it is arriving on the global stage, demanding respect and equity. What does this mean for Africa's future? It means that our influence is no longer a theoretical possibility, it is happening in real time. The West's desperation to control the borders actually highlights their fear of an Africa that is becoming too large, too loud, and too powerful to be ignored. When we look at the surge into Ceuta, we should see it for what it truly is, a catalyst for a new era. A period where African nations like Morocco are choosing to engage with the world on their own terms, regardless of the discomfort it causes those who used to hold all the power. The next time you see a headline about border crisis in Africa, I want you to look deeper. Look for the truth behind the headlines. See the agency, see the growth, and see the undeniable rise of our continent. Check out this next video on how African tech is disrupting Western markets. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the West's reliance on these borders will continue to fail? Your perspective matters as we build this community of truth tellers. Keep watching, stay informed, and keep standing tall for the continent.